All right, let's jump right in. We are about to unpack an absolutely incredible story about a student who gets lost in time and her personal quest to get home spirals into this epic battle for, like, the very soul of history. It's a wild ride. This is the story of Alex McDonald, the reluctant guardian of tomorrow.
So this morning, you gotta understand, this is delivered to Alex at a super crucial moment, and it just cranks the stakes up to 11. This isn't just about tweaking a few events, no. It's like she's walking a tightrope, and one wrong move, poof, everything could just unravel. That tension, that's what pushes this entire journey forward.
So, how does she go from just a lost student to this legendary protector? Well, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. We'll look at her first mission, the amazing team she puts together, the real enemy hiding in the shadows, how she completely transforms, and finally, the never-ending battle she's got to fight.
All right, let's rewind, back to the very beginning. Before any of this guardian stuff, Alex had a much simpler problem. She was just trying to get home.
Okay, just picture this for a second. You're a student. 1 minute, you're living your life. The next, bam, you're stranded in 1929. The world is totally alien. Everything you know is gone, and your one single goal is just find a way back. That's where we find Alex. Totally alone, completely isolated, and just laser focused on getting home.
And this is the pivot point. A guy named Professor Reynolds finds her, but he's not just offering her a ride home. Oh no, he tells her, "You're not here by accident. You're part of something way bigger." He gives her this new mission. Use what you know about the future, not just to get back, but to stop the horrible things you know are on the horizon. Just like that, her personal problem, it becomes a mission to save literally everything.
So, how in the world does one person stop global disasters? The answer is, she doesn't. Not alone, anyway. This next part is all about how Alex builds, one of the most incredible, most unlikely dream teams in all of history to fight back against what she calls the shadows of tomorrow.
And man, what a team it is. First, in 1929, she goes straight to a young Winston Churchill. She knows what's coming, right? Then she finds the physicist Werner Heisenberg, trying to make sure his genius doesn't lead to, total destruction. And to top it all off, she recruits the code-breaking legend Alan Turing. Think about that. A statesman, a nuclear physicist, and the father of computer science, all working together, in secret, years before they're supposed to make their mark on history. It's insane.
But here's the million-dollar question. How do you convince Winston Churchill you're a time traveler? You can't just walk up and say it. You have to show him. And this quote from Churchill, it nails his personality. He's skeptical, of course he is, but he's also practical. He knows that sometimes the craziest stories are the true ones. And that little bit of openness, that's all Alex needed to get started.
Her strategy was so bold, it's brilliant. Just 3 simple steps. 1, she confronts them. Head on. No messing around. 2, she convinces them with proof they literally cannot deny. Imagine handing Heisenberg atomic formulas decades early, or showing Turing codes from the future. It's irrefutable. And 3, once they're on board, they form this secret alliance, a team working behind the scenes of history itself.
So at first, Alex thinks she's just fighting against, fate, trying to stop bad things from happening. But then, she and her team realize something much scarier. They're not just fighting an idea. They're fighting something real, something intelligent, and something that means them serious harm.
And at the heart of it all is this monstrous machine, an alien device that is literally sucking the life out of the timeline. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some abstract threat. It's personal. This machine is the reason she's stuck in the past. So taking it down, it's not just about saving the world anymore. It might be her only way back home.
And you can see right here how her whole purpose changes. She started with one simple goal: get home. That's it. But now that she knows there's an actual enemy trying to wreck history on purpose, her mission gets so much bigger. It's not about her anymore. It's about protecting the timeline for everyone.
Okay, so what do? They come up with a plan, right? It's a classic infiltration mission. 3 steps. First, they use some intel from this mysterious friendly alien voice that's been helping Alex to sneak into a secret facility. Second, they find the device. And third,
They used the combined brain power of Turing, Heisenberg, and Churchill to take that monster apart.
But this is where it all comes down to the wire. They're in, but the clock is ticking. The bad guys are literally seconds from flipping the switch, which would lock in all the damage forever. Everything is riding on what happens in the next few seconds.
And they do it. They stop the device. Huge sigh of relief, right? Big win. But those two little words there, for now, they're so important. Because this wasn't the end, not by a long shot. This was just one battle and a much longer war. The enemy is still out there, licking their wounds.
That victory against the device, that was a massive turning point for Alex. It's where she stops being this person who was just dragged into things and starts to really own her new role. And to do that, she gets a pretty serious upgrade.
Say hello to the blue stone ring. And no, it's not just a cool piece of jewelry. This thing is an ancient artifact that lets her actually navigate and even nudge the timeline. This is a game changer, a huge power-up. With this ring, Alex isn't just playing defense anymore. Now, she can go on offense. She can patrol history. And with this ring, her missions become the stuff of legend. Seriously, we're not just talking about World War II anymore. She's jumping across all of time. She's protecting the birth of Jesus from this rival time traveler, the scar-faced man, who becomes her archenemy. She's at the Battle of Hastings in 1066, nudging that fatal arrow just enough. She's hanging out in Anne Boleyn's court. She's even teaming up with Guy Fawkes for the gunpowder plot. She is literally popping up wherever and whenever history's in trouble.
And all of this brings us to the end of her story. Or maybe more accurately, to the realization that for Alex, there is no end. Her fight, it doesn't have a finish line.
Here's the really bittersweet truth of it all. Alex never makes it home. She has to accept that her destiny wasn't to get back to her life, but to give it up to become the guardian of all time. Her mission became this eternal, lonely watch, the silent, invisible protector of our entire past. And that leads to this, her final, powerful declaration. This is her fully accepting who she is. She's not the lost student anymore. She is Alex McDonald, the guardian of tomorrow. It's this defiant shout into the void, a promise that as long as she's on duty, the shadows will not win.
And that leaves us with a pretty cool question to think about, right? Alex had her list of critical moments she had to save. But what about you? If you had that ring, that power, that responsibility, and you could only protect one moment in all of history from being changed, what would it be? And why that one?